My wife stole our daughter's college money to fund her shopping addiction and wants me to take the blame. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I don't know what to do. The problem is, I can't discuss this with anyone I'm close with due to privacy reasons. I've been with my wife Andrea, 48F, and my stepdaughter Cassie, 17F, for 8 years now. I love them both deeply, and Cassie is a very brilliant young woman. Recognizing her potential, Andrea and I decided to put together a college fund for Cassie so she wouldn't be overwhelmed by debt. Over the years, it has amounted to over $200,000. Cassie is aware of this and is counting on it since she's trying to get into the Ivy League. To make a long story short, last week I found out that almost $170,000 was missing from the account. I freaked out and asked Andrea if she knew anything about it. She teared up and said that she had been spending the money over the years to fund her spending habit. I was furious, but I had a moment of clarity. I've browsed these subs enough to know that an affair was possible, so I asked her if she was having one. She adamantly denied it and offered any proof I needed. Social media accounts, emails, her work phone, everything. She offered to show me the receipts as well. There was nothing that stood out as suspicious, and the math from the receipts added up, so I let it go. But we still had the major problem of the money being gone. She described herself as a shopping addict, and the money from Cassie's account was just too tempting not to use. She didn't make excuses, but offered no solutions. As stated before, I was beyond furious. She ruined Cassie's chances of going to college debt-free and has changed the trajectory of her whole life. I asked her to stay with her sister while I tried to figure this out. Cassie was concerned about why she was leaving, but we just said we needed a little bit of space. I asked Andrea to come back home yesterday, and we had a very long discussion about how to handle this. She stopped me from talking and asked a favor of me. She asked if I could take the fall for her. For context, she and Cassie don't get along for a variety of reasons, and knowing how independent Cassie is, she will probably leave right after college, if not during. In fact, Cassie and I get along very well, and she comes to me for many of her issues. Andrea fears this will permanently drive Cassie away, and she doesn't want to lose her. I told her that before we even talk about that, she needed to acknowledge her mistake and own it. She needed to go to individual therapy, we needed couples counseling, she needed to find a shopaholic support group, and I would be controlling the finances from now on. She said those terms were steep but fair. I said she needed to tell Cassie what she did, apologize, and hope for the best. She refused and said she could never lose Cassie. She said I could survive the mistake, but she couldn't. I told her that in order to even consider me taking the fall, she needed to agree to my terms. I don't know what the hell to do. The last thing I want to do is lie to Cassie, but I don't want Andrea and Cassie to split up forever. And the worst part about this whole thing is that Cassie's life is ruined either way, and I don't know how to replenish the money other than maybe borrowing from my 401k. Reddit, do you have any suggestions? Divorce is always an option, but I love Andrea despite her mistakes, and me dating at age 52 is next to impossible. Edit. After everyone here knocked some sense into me, I realized I can't lie to Cassie. I love her too much, and she deserves the absolute truth no matter how ugly and hard it is. I will be talking to Andrea and telling her that we need to tell her the truth together as a condition of us staying together, or else I will initiate divorce proceedings and tell Cassie anyway. Also, as someone suggested, I don't need her trying to flip the script on me, so I'll record our interactions going forward. Thanks. Edit 2. I want to thank everyone here for really opening my eyes yesterday. You're all right. I need to put Cassie first, and like I said, I'll be telling the absolute truth. Even if she gets mad at me and disowns me, at least I'll know I did the right thing. Additionally, I'm going to pay for her college myself. I can pull money from a couple of places, such as my retirement and inheritance, so it'll be fine. If I have to live a little frugally during retirement and work a few extra years, then so be it. Cassie is worth it. I honestly doubt her mother is going to sell her stuff, so that's why I'm taking this route. As for Andrea, I've been criticized for wanting to let Andrea off the hook, so to speak, but it's easy to say when deeply held feelings aren't involved. That being said, I don't think I can stay with her. What she did is horrendous, and she ruined our daughter's future for her addiction. We had a long discussion late last night, and I threatened divorce unless she told Cassie the truth. She begged me not to do this, but I put my foot down, and eventually she agreed, but only if I agreed not to divorce, and I helped to repair their relationship. I likely won't be doing either. She made her bed, so she can sleep in it. So, if I have to update, I'll probably just make a whole new post. Thanks a lot, guys. Relevant comments. How could you not have noticed? Weren't you getting a 1099 and noticing less interest? To answer your question, I had really nothing to do with the account other than contributing money. I just took her word for it. She showed me statements from time to time, so I had no reason to suspect anything. Plus, we have separate finances, except for a joint account for household expenditures and bills. Although Cassie is my daughter, officially, I'm only her stepdad, so Andrea handles all matters related to her finances, unless Cassie asks me for something directly. Also, I wasn't the only contributor. Her grandparents on both sides contributed, as well as my own parents. I only discussed discovered what was going on when my wife left a statement out in the open. I'm now believing she simply pocketed whatever money she got and doctored the statements. I knew the amount that was supposed to be there because a lot of the money came in the beginning. Her grandparents initially contributed $75,000, mine contributed another $30,000, and the amount that I added over the years. Don't take from your savings to pay Cassie back. Take from your wife's. I asked her to take money from her account to pay her back. She said protecting her retirement is important to her and that she could take out a loan since her credit is excellent. Surprisingly enough, she doesn't run up her credit cards. Now I know how. Also, I'm hesitant to do this. I understand everyone wants her to fry for this, and I do too. However, if I'm to stay with Andrea, I don't want her to have to continue working until she's dead. I would like to enjoy our retirement together. My retirement is very healthy, plus I have a few investments and an inheritance. I could survive the hit. The most important thing is Cassie gets to go to whatever school she wants and not have to worry about it. The comments are right. I'm not letting Andrea off the hook. She's going to pay for this, and she will be telling Cassie why Andrea and Cassie don't get along. Andrea is a widow, and Cassie took the death of her father very hard since she was so young. According to Andrea, a lot of their problems started there out of grief and anger. Then Cassie grew up and she's developed into a bit of a tomboy. Andrea is kind of a girly girl and doesn't relate to Cassie dressing up tomboyish. They don't agree on much. Cassie wants to be a physicist, while Andrea wants her to pursue a career with more money-making potential. Plus, there's the usual teenage daughter and mother strife. They have screaming matches that I have to intervene in. Update. I want to start this by thanking everyone who replied to me in the original post. You all showed me tough love, and I appreciate that. I even appreciate those who were calling me a doormat because, like I said in the previous post, it woke me up. I won't be staying with Andrea. She's lied and manipulated me and Cassie for far too long for me to stay with her. The fact that she stole from me, Cassie, and Cassie's grandparents makes this as close to unforgivable as it gets. The most wronged party here is Cassie. She has an amazing future ahead of her, and I refuse to let her future go to waste because my wife made such selfish choices. Also, I'd like to take the time to answer some common questions, some of which I addressed in the original post, but I'll post again here so everyone can see it. Over half the money in the account came from Cassie's grandparents, aka Andrea's parents, Cassie's bio dad's parents, and my parents, whom she also calls grandparents. This money came in the beginning, which is why I knew how much was supposed to be in there. I never handled the account. Although I claim Cassie as my daughter, she is only my stepdaughter officially. As such, her mother handles all financial matters related to her. I simply gave her money to put in the account, and she showed me probably doctored statements. My belief is that she pocketed the cash whenever I gave her money. I did notice all the stuff she was buying. She claimed that they were either on sale or because she got a work bonus. She makes a very good living, and I thought she was responsible with money, so I said all right. I did ask her why she needed so many Christian Louboutin shoes. She shrugged it off. And although people can't wrap their heads around it, it's very easy to spend $170,000. A substantial chunk of the money went to buy a Mercedes, which I thought was a lease. She had a 7-year-old Lexus that, according to her, her friends were laughing at. Keeping up appearances for her wealthy friends is very important to her. Cassie and Andrea do not get along for a variety of reasons. Allegedly, Cassie takes a lot after her deceased father, and Andrea can't relate to her at all, or maybe doesn't try hard enough. Cassie much prefers talking to me. We have parent-child boundaries, but Cassie considers me one of her best friends. Her words, not mine. I realized that taking the fall was her manipulating me. Plus, it would have opened me up to a crap ton of consequences that I don't need to deal with. Plus, honesty is always the best policy. I wasn't thinking properly in my last post, and was afraid to be alone and single. I suppose I have some issues being alone that I need to address. Plus, I really do love Andrea. We connect on a very deep level, but I'm still divorcing her. Oddly enough, a comment that senior homes have chlamydia outbreaks got me laughing and made me realize that I could date again at this age. Also, you guys gave me some very nice compliments, so thank you for those. After my final update on the original post, I talked to Andrea deep into the night. She went back and forth with me on admitting to Cassie what she did. She said that she, or even both of us, could get loans and take care of the money then. I said she had a problem and needed to make amends, which was a talking point from here. When I threatened her with divorce, she agreed to tell Cassie as long as I don't divorce her. I guess she's afraid of losing everything. That afternoon, we sat Cassie down and told her the facts. She thought we were just kidding at first, but when she realized we weren't kidding, she got extremely upset. I'll spare you the details, but she and Andrea got into an extremely loud and vicious shouting match. Cassie called her some truly awful names, and Andrea, while she didn't curse at her, tried to defend herself but started getting angry at the names she was being called. They were so loud that the neighbors called the police. I had to awkwardly explain the situation to them while hoping they didn't think I was some kind of wife beater. Cassie told Andrea that she never wanted to speak to her again and that she never wanted a dime of her money and stormed off. I asked Andrea at this point to stay with her sister indefinitely while we give Cassie and me some space. She didn't want to go. She fought me to stay, but I told her Cassie and I needed time apart from her, so she packed her stuff and went to her sister's house. As for Cassie, she went to her room and locked the door. She let me in after I told her that her mother had left. She cried in my arms and expressed that her future was now ruined. I told her it wasn't, that I would cover her college from my retirement, and that I would make it right. She doesn't exactly know what a 401k is yet, but she told me that she doesn't want me to work until I'm 90 like the people at Walmart just because of her. I just told her she's worth it, and that you do stupid things for the people you love. She said that she would start looking for scholarships and maybe other schools where she could get a full ride since she has excellent grades and extracurriculars. I then admitted Andrea wanted me to take the fall for her and that I had considered it, but I came to my senses. She got upset with me and told me that would have been the stupidest thing I could have done. She said she wouldn't have believed I did it anyway, and it only would have made her more upset at her mother. She told me that she doesn't blame me and that she's not mad at me for the money being gone, but she is mad that I'd want to cover for her mother. I apologized for that. We talked and cuddled for a while longer before calling it a night. The next morning, I got a call from Andrea's parents asking if the story was true. Cassie had told them the story, and they were calling to confirm. I had the voice recordings and bank statement to prove it. They were livid, but begged me not to leave Andrea for this, and to try and help her through her addiction. I told them I wasn't sure about that yet, and hung up. A while later, my parents called and asked me about it. I confirmed. They were probably angrier than Cassie was, all things considered. They're threatening to press charges. I told them to calm down and that I would handle it. Cassie is doing okay. She's still a little shell-shocked, but she seems to be taking it as well as one could hope for. I made her pancakes this morning, and that seemed to brighten her mood a bit. I asked her if she wants to do therapy. She said she'll think about it. I will be doing therapy for myself. Andrea has been calling to talk, but I'm just letting it ring, so she's leaving voicemails. She's offering anything to make it right. Money, sex, favors, you name it, but it's not going to work. I feel terrible for Cassie, especially so close to Christmas. I think I'm going to get her Billie Eilish tickets, since that's her god. It won't make up for it at all, but it could go a long way to helping her feel better. So that's it for now. I guess I'll update if anything further happens, but I think this is pretty much it. Thanks all, you've been a tremendous help. Edit, I forgot to add, I watch my credit like a hawk, so there was nothing suspicious there, but it's going to be locked. I'll be going to my accountant next week to have Andrea removed from everything meaningful. Life insurance, will, bank accounts, etc. And I'll be adding Cassie. I've started changing passwords and the like so Andrea doesn't have access. I'm stringing Andrea along with non-divorce until my accounts are secure. Also, from what I can tell, Cassie's credit is okay, but I'll be doing a deep scan and locking that as well. Edit 2. Fixed a line where I mixed up the names. Edit 3. I can't believe I have to say this, but there are a few people saying it's creepy that I'm cuddling with my daughter. If sitting together with her crying on my shoulder and us talking is considered creepy, then sure, I'm creepy. Leave it to the internet to make things weird, I guess. And no, I don't think I'm some hero. I'm just trying to do the right thing. Relevant comments. Splitting things in the divorce. We have a prenup since she has money as well, so no fears there. We have separate finances, and the only major asset we have is the house. I'm willing to buy out her half so I can own it fully. Don't cash in your retirement. Make Andrea sell her stuff. Sorry, forgot to put it in the post. She doesn't want to sell her stuff and is just offering to get a loan. She shouldn't get a choice to not sell. You are letting this woman ruin your future. Why is this worth it? The answer is Cassie. She's smart, wise beyond her years in some regards, but still a teenager in many others. She's very proud and refused her mother's money. I asked her if she wanted the car. She said no. Asked if she would be okay with her mother paying her back. She said no. Like I mentioned in the post, she wants nothing to do with her mother anymore, and that includes her money. That's probably just anger talking, and I'm hoping cooler heads will prevail, but I think there's a part of her that's embracing the challenge of figuring this out on her own, or at least without her mother's money. As for me, if Andrea wants all that stuff so badly that she's choosing it over us, she can have it. We'll be great without her. So, in a way, she is paying for all that stuff, in the most precious way, with her marriage, and most importantly, her child. You're letting her walk all over you. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't view it as her walking all over me. She's lost her marriage, her daughter, her family is furious with her, and her friends will likely drop her when they hear what she's done and realize she's not as wealthy as she appears to be. To me, that seems like real consequences. I'm a big fan of The Twilight Zone, and this seems like one of those endings where the person gets what they want, but doesn't realize what they had to give up to get it. She can have her possessions. It just cost her everything to get them. To quote Jake the Snake Roberts, she's a victim of her own greed, wallowing in the muck of her own avarice. Plus, she'll likely end up getting sued by my parents anyway, and if Cassie decides she wants her money, then I'll support her fully in getting it. My retirement will be fine. Let's just say my portfolio is very diverse and healthy. Plus, I have an inheritance. I'm not bragging, just stating facts. Plus, there is the chance Cassie gets a scholarship or assistance. Update, 8.5 months later. Hello everyone. It's been a long time since I've been here. A lot has happened, and truth be told, I haven't had the time to post an update here, but I finally have a quiet moment to give you an update. First, I want to thank everyone here for helping me at such a pivotal time in my life. After rereading my original threads, I can't believe how indecisive and weak I came off in them. The prospect of my marriage ending and dying alone really kind of shook me to my core, and thus made me come off that way. I started therapy, and it made me realize that being single wasn't the worst thing that could happen to me. In fact, I've turned my loneliness into solitude and have taken the time to work on myself. And if that last sentence didn't tip you off, then let me me be the first to tell you that I'm single now. Andrea and I are legally separated and currently in divorce mediation. Unfortunately, Andrea is still very much in denial and is trying everything she can to get me back, including delaying the divorce as much as possible so we can work on our marriage. She claims that she has begun seeing a therapist who has helped her recognize the problem she has and set her on the path to recovery. I don't know if I buy it, but I told her it's a good thing if it's true. She has also apologized to my parents, hers and her late husband's parents, for what she's done and offered to pay back the money. They've all forgiven her, but are keeping her at arm's length. She's been desperate to reconnect with Cassie, but Cassie has kept her promise and decided never to speak to her mother again, or at least until she's ready to. Andrea's wealthy friends she was so eager to impress have been around our house offering their support. They may be nosy busybodies, but they were very kind to Cassie and me in the immediate aftermath of Andrea's betrayal. They offered everything from a shoulder to cry on, to baked goods, to spa dates. I only ever really took them up on the baked goods because I will never turn down homemade lemon bars and oatmeal raisin cookies. Cassie did take them up on spa dates, so there's that. One woman in particular, Susan, has been around more often than the others. While I feel like the other friends were prying for information, she seemed more genuine and just there to help Cassie and me heal. She cooked meals for us, helped around the house, and just spent a lot of quality time with me in particular. We didn't ask, want, or need her to do any of this for us, but she did it out of the kindness of her heart, and I really appreciate it. We've gotten a lot closer in such a short time, and I truly consider her a friend. It's actually amazing I could get along with someone who's so much younger than me, 14 years. Usually, I have a hard time connecting with younger people, even if they're adults. But now we get to the most important part of this update, Cassie. As a cheer-up Christmas gift, I took her and one of her friends to Montreal last month to see her favorite artist, Billie Eilish, at this festival. She loved it, and Montreal is such a beautiful city to explore. All in all, she took the loss of her college fund pretty well. Cassie is a very hardworking person, and she put her nose to the grindstone trying to find a scholarship. Unfortunately, she missed the cutoff for most of the scholarships she could have qualified for, but the school of her choice is giving her a very generous financial aid package. In addition, she qualified for some local grants, so she got her entire first year covered. And yes, Cassie did, thankfully, get into her school of choice. In fact, she had many acceptance letters and full ride offers, but she had her heart set on her preferred school. In fact, I dropped her off last week. I'm extremely proud of her, and I know she'll do well. I'm an empty nester now, all alone in this big house, and the silence is deafening. However, Susan has been around to keep me company, and I've taken up bike riding as a pastime. So all in all, things are okay. Not great, but certainly better than before. And with that, I think I can put this saga to bed. The divorce will hopefully be finalized in the next few months, and I can finally move on with my life. But the most important thing is that Cassie is fulfilling her dreams and potential, and I couldn't be happier about that.